How you doing? Will Beta Ray Bill get nerfed? So you've probably seen the best players in the world showcasing Beta Ray Bill. I'm just here to give you guys a realistic gameplay from an average player. How is Beta Ray Bill? Will he get nerfed, or I will let you know my opinion or what I think when it comes to Beta Ray Bill later on, if he's going to get nerfed or not. I know a lot of people in the comment section are saying like, Beta Ray Bill is going to get nerfed. So I'm just going to give you guys my opinion. But first, let's see the gameplay. Just a reminder, this is a realistic gameplay from an average player. And if you're wondering why I'm using a 4-star instead of a 7-star rank 3, well, if you live in a social media bubble, you probably think half of MCOC players have a 7-star rank 3, but it's not even close. It's for sure less than 5%, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was 1% of MCOC players have him as a 7-star rank 3. The reason why I'm using a 4-star is because I can take him to max sig. I know 4-star is not quite the same at max sig compared to like a 6-star at max sig 200, but it's pretty close to it. I'm also running damage mastery because I want to see Beta Ray Bill close to his maximum potential, because the title of this video, will he get nerfed, and we want to see his maximum potential, because I think without damage mastery and without his awakened ability, which he really needs, he's just mid. I know you've probably seen MSD soloing the hardest fights in MCOC when it comes to Necropolis, but I still believe he is mid. And when you look at MSD's gameplay, it's not realistic. It's unrealistic gameplay. If you base a champion based on MSD skill, every champion in MCOC is broken, so it just doesn't make any sense. The title of his videos, he should have a disclaimer and saying that for entertainment purpose only. That's what I think. Anyways, so let's showcase Beta Ray Bill. When it comes to Beta Ray Bill's ability, it's really not hard to understand. What's hard, what really is hard about it is being able to do it, to pull it off. You basically want to get to 2 bars of power close to your special 3 and throw your special 2. And there's different kinds of rotation, of course, when it comes to Beta Ray Bill. But when you talk about getting the maximum damage, you want to pretty much, get to 12 shocks, because that's the most shocks you can put on an opponent, and get up to 3 furies as well. So basically, how do you do that? You want to throw your SP2s and then get to 12 shocks, and then also throw your SP1, get to, as well as getting a max stack of 3 furies, and that's going to yield you the most damage with Beta Ray Bill once you have 3 fury buffs, or 3 personal fury buffs, as well as 12 shocks on the opponent. But keep in mind, you do have to time it for it to expire when it comes to the shocks as well. So like I mentioned, this is just a realistic gameplay for an average player. So this is how most people are going to be using Beta Ray Bill, if you believe it or not, but that's the way it is. Like I mentioned, it's really hard to pull it off when it comes to Beta Ray Bill, because it's like you have to time everything perfectly when it comes to this rotation, and depending on AI cooperation, it could be really tough. And Winter Soldier is not a really tough defender himself, so be able to pull it off against tougher opponent is not going to be easy, of course. So that's the biggest downfall I feel like when it comes to Beta Ray Bill. Do I think he's going to get nerfed? Well, yes and no, because I remember when it came to Ghost, the best players in the world were saying that Ghost was, or you could say is, broken. This was 2 or 3 years ago, and then Kabam made a forum about it and saying, when it comes to the best players in the world, Ghost is performing great, but when it comes to average player like myself, he was just doing, just average, gameplay, or he was just average. So it really depends. I know Kabam has changed their policy, I believe, when it comes to MCOC. So As you can see, let's take a look at the fight first. Look at that, 4 minutes. I know I'm using a 4-star, but over 4 minutes, and I couldn't even solo it. And this was actually my best run out of like what, 4 or 5 runs with him. So he's just not going to be easy to use. I'm just letting you know that. So do I think he's going to get nerfed? It really depends on Kabam. Like I mentioned already, when it came to Ghost, the best players in the world was saying that he was broken, and this was 2 or 3 years ago, and then Kabam made a forum saying when it comes to the best players in the world, they said he was doing great, but when it comes to average player like myself, he was just average. So that's why they didn't nerf Ghost. That was the reason. So I don't know how Kabam's policy has been. You know, they have the rebalancing program now, which means they can nerf any champion they want. So, and their greed has gotten the best of them. You know, really, it's just completely different game. I'd say 3 years ago, maybe even 2 years ago, a free-to-play player can, you know, compete at close, not at the very top level, but close to the top level. But nowadays, you know, if you're a free-to-play player, you cannot compete with the whales. It's just it's practically impossible to do so. So I don't know. Kabam's greed is completely, you know, getting the best of them compared to was 3 years ago or even 2 years ago. So it's very possible Beta Ray Bill could still get nerfed, I believe. You know, and just a good example of this is before Beta Ray Bill, all the champions in 2024, they suck. I mean, big time. They're all defenders, you know. Okay, I want to take that back. I say Bullseye is actually pretty good in Incursion. But besides that, you know, before Beta Ray Bill, all the champions suck. Even Enchantress sucks. I mean, and she's supposed to be another defender. So I'll talk about Enchantress in a different video. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that he doesn't get nerfed. That's it. I don't know else what to say. I don't think he will. You know, if you base it on an average player like myself gameplay, I don't think he will get nerfed. And you think my gameplay is bad, you know, wait until you see a gameplay from what a beginner would play when it comes to Beta Ray Bill. Also, I know somebody's gonna, in the comment section, is gonna say this, and I just want to see a test if somebody actually made it to this video or listened to the video the entire time. Yes, I do notice towards the end of the video, or perhaps after rewatching the video, I don't know exactly when, that I was using a medium attack that speed up the shocks, which I end up losing the shocks. As you could see, it was falling off when I was playing Beta Ray Bill. And the reason why is because when you throw your first attack being medium attack, you speed up the shock process. And I've been playing this game for 7 years, okay? I always start with a medium attack. I always intersect with medium attack. So I don't know why Kabam did that instead of using a light attack. I don't know the reasoning behind it. He would have been so much easier to play, I believe. So would Beta Ray Bill get nerfed? I doubt he will. I don't think so. At least based on an average player gameplay. Thank you.